Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to a nice, dreary day up here in Cedar Falls. No better place to be than in the auditorium rather than sitting outside in one of those. So I'm glad to see y'all here. We're going to talk about the Alternate Energy Revolving Loan Program this morning. I am the manager of that program at the Iowa Energy Center, so I'll talk about the program, go through some examples of people that have actually financed projects using the program, and then if you have questions at the end, hopefully we'll have time to answer all of those. Anyone in the audience know who the Iowa Energy Center is? A couple of you. A little bit of history. The Iowa Energy Center was created in 1990 by our Iowa legislators as a part of the Energy Efficiency Act. We are located up at Iowa State University as a part of the legislation as a way to cut down our overhead, so we're administered by them. But we receive no funding from Iowa State University, nor do we receive any funding from state government. Rather, we receive all of our funding from anyone that pays a gas or electric bill in the state of Iowa. Percentage, 0.085% of all those gross revenues come to our center so that we can accomplish our mission, which is to conduct and sponsor research in the fields of energy efficiency and renewable energy. Today we're going to talk about the Alternate Energy Revolving Loan Program. This was created by our legislators to encourage the development of alternate energy production facilities in the state of Iowa. It was created in May of 1996. We had it up and running in the latter part of 1996, and it was created by our legislators as an amendment to the law that created the Energy Center to begin with. It was funded through a 3-year surcharge similar to our operating budget. It was funded through a 3-year surcharge between 1995 and 1997. The receipts from that surcharge amounted to about $5.9 million capital to make this loan program work. Get right into what does the program offer. Right now, the program offers up to 50% of the financed cost of the construction project. Notice the word finance. It's very important. It's not necessarily the construction cost, but what you're going to finance. We'll provide 50% up to a maximum of $1 million. That $1 million was just changed this past legislative session. It used to be $250,000. Now it's up to $1 million, so you can actually come to the program with some pretty sizable projects. The program will lend out that 50% at 0% interest for a maximum term not to exceed 20 years. The other 50% of the financed cost must come from a lender of your choice that we will partner with. Why do we do it that way? If you were going to go out and try to get a loan 10 years ago for a small wind turbine at your local banker, you probably would have had a pretty difficult time securing that loan. Not because you weren't necessarily a good customer of the bank, but rather that the bank had no way of really assessing what the risk associated with a wind turbine or a solar panel really were. They didn't have the background, and so they don't like to make loans on projects that they don't understand. We recognized that when we got this program and tried to take advantage of it, because at the Energy Center we are researchers, we are not bankers. And so for the legislators to drop, in essence, a banking activity on a bunch of engineers makes you kind of wonder. But to make the best out of it, we learned why loans weren't being made, and it was because of the banking institution. So we saw an opportunity to make loans happen. If we provide 50% of the partnership, we will offer your lender a professional engineer's opinion on whether or not the project that you're proposing is good or bad. That takes a lot of the risk away from the lender. Aside from that, we'll provide 50% of the loan cost up front. and we'll take a second position on the note so that if there is a default, the bank has even less risk associated with it. In return, we ask the banker to do the financial qualification of the applicant because I don't want to do credit checks of you all. And that is their business, and they do it very well, so they should do it. In addition, we ask them to originate and then to service the note throughout the entire course of the loan. That being done, we've been very successful making loans happen, and we believe that this program is a credit to getting a lot of that to happen. Now, it is important to note that there are certain conditions. Since our side of the note, or our 50%, is at 0% interest, you can't get one of these kinds of notes and pay off the interest-bearing side of the note faster than the 0% side. So it's not one of these where you get a note and pay off the interest-bearing side tomorrow, and then you got 20 years of 0% interest. If you try to do that, you're going to have to pay off the 0% side as well. And the reason for that is simply to protect our interest. As long as the bank is involved and has interest, they will protect us, and they will help us in the case of a default. That's the way the partnership is written. Who's eligible for this program? The way the law was written, anyone in the world is eligible for these monies as long as the project is built within the borders of Iowa, with two exceptions. The municipal utilities and the rural electric co-ops are not eligible. The customers of those utilities are eligible. So probably everyone in this room is eligible as long as you build a project within the state. What kind of technologies can you use this program for? Hydroelectric, wind, solar. Solar could be PV or hot water. Biomass, and biomass is a very large category. It's not very well defined in the state statute, and so it can be very broad. We've done projects from as little as a wood-burning stove or corn-burning stove, pellet-type stoves, all the way up to biodiesel and ethanol plants. So it takes the whole gamut. And if you have a question about what kind of biomass would be eligible, give me a call. I think it's important to note what technologies are not eligible because we receive a lot of calls and there's a lot of misunderstanding about some of these. Passive solar is not eligible. You cannot replace the windows in your house and call it a solar project and receive this funding. Geothermal systems, what we commonly call in this state ground source heat pumps, are not eligible. Ground source heat pumps are an efficiency project, not a renewable energy project. They do require input energy to make them work, and as soon as you turn the energy off, they don't work anymore. So they're not renewable. Even though they're extremely efficient, you get more energy out of them than you put in. They are not renewable. And besides that, state law doesn't define ground source heat pumps as eligible either, or any type of heat pump. The program is a revolving structure. You know what that means? That means that as loans are made and the repayments come back to us, that we can, as the loans come back, those monies become available then for additional loans. So the program is in essence perpetual. The only way the program will ever stop existing is if our state legislators decide to strike it from the books. The program will never run out of money because every month new monies, not new monies, but revolved monies are coming back into the program. It is a competitive program. What do I mean by competitive? We receive two different types of applications, what we call small applications. Applications that are small are those that are requesting less than $25,000 from the program. For those types of applications, we receive those applications and review them on a continuous basis. Large projects, on the flip side of that, are projects that are seeking more than $25,000 from the program. Those type, we only accept applications 4 times a year. The next deadline would be October 31st. If you submit a small application, more than likely your application will not receive too much competition, because the likelihood of getting multiple applications on any given day are quite small. However, if you're seeking a larger project where we only receive applications 4 times a year, then there will be competition, and there is almost always competition. Assuming that all the projects are technically equal, in other words, they pass the engineer's test, then the priority of the funds that are available go to those projects that will revolve the money back into the program quickest. In other words, as a part of the application, we are seeking, or you will be asked, who or how long of a term, loan term, are you requesting? Those that seek the shortest loan term will receive priority. And let's take a couple examples. Examples might be a wind or a solar project that at cost of today might have a 15 to 20 year payback. Well, that would almost reach the limit of the allowable. A 20-year payback on this program in today's world is not very competitive. I can just tell you that right now. If you could be willing to take a loan for 10 years, you would improve your chances of receiving the funds quite a bit. So it's something to think about as you go through the application process. Even though the law permits you to go after 20 years, that does not guarantee that you'll get the funds at all, because the 20 years may move you to the bottom of the list. The program is a managed partnership with the banking community, and I kind of explained why. The Energy Center will do the technical evaluations, and the bank is left doing the financial qualifications. Although generally it is a single promissory note is the way that this ends up. It's important to note that there are owner reporting requirements. Since we are a research institution, we decided to make this into a research effort. And the consequence of that effort is that we require a startup and annual reports for anyone that participates in this program. And I'll talk about what the requirements of those reports are. This indicates the actual structure of how the program is set up. Iowa State University serves as our financial agent and is the agency that will actually cut the check. That check won't be written to you as the applicant. It will instead be sent directly to your banker. And in return, as you make your monthly payments to your banker, they transfer the funds back directly to Iowa State University, who puts it in an account for us. The Energy Center will do we do all of the administration, we do the technical qualification, and then, like I said, we will monitor the project as long as the loan is active and collect the reporting. And what I'll show you in a couple more slides is the actual case studies that we developed from those. The applicant is the owner of the project. That's important. They are responsible for the owner's agreement we'll talk about, and of course responsible for the repayments and the reporting requirements. The lender takes care of the financial qualification, originates and services the note. The contract that we have with your lender is what we call the participation agreement. It's basically just a contract between us and your lender, the Energy Center and your lender. This is an agreement that you as the owner won't even see. It's totally transparent to you. Once we approve your project from a technical point of view, you will be sent a letter that says that you've been approved and what the terms of that of the loan